Good morning, dear students. So today we start off with the process costing. So what do we mean by process costing? Process costing is that where certain sequence or certain steps of operations have to be performed on the goods in order to is to be performed on the raw material in order to convert them into finished product. So I can say that it is a form of operating costing which is used to ascertain the cost. Which cost? Cost of product. So we have to ascertain the cost of product, but which product? At each process stage. At each process stage. So at each process stage means there are certain, as I told you, there is certain sequence of activities or there are certain operations. For example, I take up the process of making coconut oil. So I can say it is divided into, let's say, 3 processes. So one is that we are doing coconut is being peeled off, and it is the crushing process which is being done, and crude oil is coming out of this, and this crude oil goes to the next process as the finished product. This is the finished product of the first part and goes as the raw material for the second. And here we do, let's say, the refining part of the oil, and after the refine, the finished product of this will go to the next one, and it will become the raw material of third. Let's say it is the finishing process. Clear? So there are certain processes depending upon the sort, that how the product is to be manufactured. So at each process certain things are being made, and we are required to ascertain the cost of product at each process stage or the stage of manufacture when the processes are being carried out. So what are the features of process costing? Feature of process costing is, number one, we should remember that at each process stage identical units will be produced. These will be of same sort, you can say they are homogeneous in nature. Then the process which we are talking about is to be uniformly performed on all the units of raw material. It will be uniformly uniformly performed on all the units of the raw material which are entering into that process. And the cost which we have to ascertain, we will be ascertaining only after that process is completed in the cost period, that how much time it is taking in order to complete. So in that period how many units have been produced, so accordingly what is the cost in that period, we will be dividing by the units which we have produced in that period in order to find out the cost per unit. So another thing which we have to remember is that there might be losses in the process. Which sort of losses? There can be avoidable losses also, there can be unavoidable losses also. So avoidable losses and unavoidable losses, we can say that unavoidable is normal loss and avoidable is abnormal loss, and this treatment we'll be discussing later on in detail when we proceed further. So another thing which I have already discussed is that the raw material of one process is first of all processed, let's say in process 1, and it turns into finished product. So first process finished product is going to act as the raw material for the second process, that is the next process. So similarly the finished product of second process is going to act as the raw material of the third process, and this thing will continue till the process is over. There are also chances that during this manufacture, along with the main product, certain byproducts also produced. जब मेन प्रोडक्ट की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर रहे हैं, so it can happen that certain byproducts or certain joint products are also produced. It can happen. So we cannot forego the chances of this. So their accounting treatment is separate. तो ये this is not in purview of your syllabus yet, but just understand byproducts are when one product of high value and the other product of low value emerges after the raw material is inserted into the process. Let's say this is raw material A, we inserted in the machine and the processing is being done, and then the result is there are two X and Y, two finished products are made. X is of high value and Y is of low value relatively. So X is the main product and Y is the byproduct. But if we say that both are having similar values, let's say high only, they both are valued equally, so they are called as joint product. So only the thing is when one is of high and the other is of low, then we say by. When value is high of all the products which are produced, then we say they are the joint products. So control is needed in order, because there are chances of losses. So a good degree of control is to be imposed on the process accounts while processing the raw material. So one thing I would like to make it clear before we go further, that which industries they use process costing. So process costing is wherever we see the processes going on, that machines are in continuous operation. So let's say one example I have already told you, that is the oil refining. Another, it can be producing of milk products. For example, our Verka or Amul, they are using this process costing. Then the soap making industries, then even all the chemical works industries, they are using process costing. So chemical works, then even our let's say all the food product and processing industries, they are using this. Paper mills are also using process costing. So there are many others like biscuit works also, then textile, weaving, we cannot forget them, spinning, paint industries, ink industries, varnishing, then even your cardboard box making, they are all using the process costing format. Okay, so what are the advantage and the limitation or the disadvantage? First, let's say about the advantages. What are the advantage? I'll be writing side by side. If I say advantage, then we are able to determine the cost. But what is the disadvantage? Advantages, we are able to determine cost at each process stage. But what is the disadvantage? Let me change the marker. What is the disadvantage? The disadvantage is that we can get this cost only after the process is over. So cost is obtained only after the end of the accounting period. Only then we know about the cost. So because cost is known afterwards when it is incurred, so we cannot have proper control. So no proper control on it. And here we can say it is easy to calculate cost. That I will be showing you when I make the process accounts, that it is very easy. It is very easy to allocate the expenses to the processes. Allocate, why allocate? Because you will be knowing that this particular, for example, we have purchased coconuts. So this is a cost of the first process, second, or the third. So of course, whenever we purchase the coconuts, they have to be, the whole cost will be a part of the first process only. So from that is the crushing process. So the thing is, we can easily find out that particular expense of a particular process. So allocation is easier. So here the main disadvantage is that, suppose if there is no a work in progress, then the things are fine. But the things become bit difficult when the work in progress is there at certain stages. And work in progress is going to be the one, we cannot avoid work in progress for sure. There have to be work in progress, that is the produce, which is neither in raw form or nor in the finished form. So there will be work in progress at each stage of process, and it demands some calculation which can lead to certain inaccuracies in our calculated part. So let us start with the aspect that what the process costing account will look like. It is very simple. So let's say whatever process account I am making, let's say it is a process A account or process 1 account. What we have to do, you are very familiar with this format now. So this is the particulars, here is the amount. This is the simple format. Particulars and amount. But what if they have given us certain units also? If they have given certain units also, then what we will be doing, we'll be writing out that output over here. So let's say whatever output is for that time period, we will be mentioning over here. Now what else I can do? Yes, one thing more, I can make a per unit column over here. So it can be, one is total and one is the cost per unit column. So we can do it like this. And sometimes when I feel that the question says that these many units were introduced, this many is the normal loss, or this much is the amount which is transferred to the next process, so I can change again the format of this question. Just see how quickly I am changing the things. The main thing is that we have to show in account in such a way that our things are very easy for decision making purposes. We do not want to have any sort of inaccuracy in our account, and we also on the other hand want to have a handy information of things. So I can make this account, it can be particular, here I can write units, here I can write amount, again particulars, then units, then I can write amount. So I think this is the best format, because now let us discuss this along with an example. Suppose in process A it is given that the units which are issued, the raw material units which are issued to process A, they are 1000 units at the rate of 10. So amount is, so they are issued at the rate of rupees 10, suppose given in the question. So 10 into 1000, 1000. Then we are given with, let's say, certain other sundry materials, certain other materials which we have used, let's say 5000. Then we are given with the data relating to labor. I hope you are able to see. So let's say labor is given to us 10,000 again, and then we are given with that there is a normal loss. Now arises normal loss, and how normal loss we will come to know, it is always from your past experience. that you know that your normal loss is going to arise. Let's say 1% of units introduced, जो भी लिखा है क्वेश्चन में अकॉर्डिंगली. तो इफ़ इट इज़ 1% ऑफ यूनिट्स इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, तो 1/100 into 1000 units are introduced. 1000 units are introduced, so 1/100. So how many units? We get 10 units of normal loss. So by normal loss 10 units. अब ये नॉर्मल लॉस इफ़ इट इज़ हैविंग सर्टन रिलाइजेबल वैल्यू, मतलब इसको अगर बेचा जा सकता है स्क्रैप के रेट पे, रद्दी के रेट पे, इफ़ दिस इज़ एबल टू बी, if this is of such nature that we can resell it, we can sell it as scrap. तो अगर इसका कोई scrap rate दिया है, that scrap rate we can mention it over here. So what is the scrap rate? Let's say scrap rate is given in the question. It is said that it is at the rate of ₹1 we have sold. So 10 rupees over here. And if there is no scrap rate, it means units का loss है पर पैसा कोई नहीं आया, then we will not write anything. If we are having the scrap rate, we can multiply it with it, overwrite the amount over here. और अगर नहीं है, just put a dash and write it like this. Then we are given units which are transferred to next process. मतलब process A से कितने units process B में गए. So let's say here it is written by process B, we will be writing output transferred at the rate of, this rate we will be calculating. So let's say they have written that how many units we have transferred. We have transferred 990 units. Clear? And the question is over, nothing else is given. So how to do? What you do is you do the totals. 1000, 25,000, then here it is nothing, 990 plus 10, so 1000 again, and balancing figure of course it is going to be 25,000, so we write 25,000. क्वेश्चन हो गया, प्रोसेस ए बन गया हमारा, वेरी सिंपल. बट ये भी हो सकता है, ज़रूरी थोड़ा है कि आउटपुट ट्रांसफर्ड एग्जैक्ट 990 हो. सपोज इट इज़ 950 यूनिट्स. अब क्या करें? इफ़ इट इज़ 950 यूनिट्स देन व्हाट टू डू? देखो बेटा, टोटल दोनों साइड्स का 1000 ही होना चाहिए. 950 प्लस 10 960, तो वेयर डिड 40 यूनिट्स गो? तो ये जो 40 यूनिट्स का डिफरेंस आ रहा है, द लॉस ओवर एंड अबव द नॉर्मल लॉस, दैट इज नोन एज एबनॉर्मल लॉस. दैट इज नोन एज द एबनॉर्मल लॉस. तो अब हमारे पास इस साइड पर वी हैव ऑल द एक्सपेंसेस नोटेड डाउन, और इस साइड पे नॉर्मल लॉस हुआ था वो नोट किया, यूनिट्स विच वर ट्रांसफ़र टू नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस वो नोट किए, और यहाँ पर बैलेंस आ रहा है हमारा 40 यूनिट्स का. सो व्हाट टू नेम, व्हाट इज़ द एबनॉर्मल लॉस? वी रोट द एबनॉर्मल लॉस. नाउ व्हाट, हाउ टू वैल्यू दीज abnormal losses? So you can write down the formula which I am writing over here. In order to value these abnormal losses or the units of which are transferred to the next process, to help to calculate the valuation rate. So valuation rate of units of abnormal loss and units transferred to next process. Formula is cost of normal effectives divided by normal effectives. Cost of normal effectives divided by normal effectives. ये बोलने में जितना डिफ़िकल्ट लग रहा है कुछ भी नहीं. व्हाट इज़ नॉर्मल इफेक्टिव्स? क्या करना है, जिसको कैलकुलेट करना है उसको छुपा लो, जस्ट पुट अ हैंड, जो बाकी बचा उस यूनिट्स में से यूनिट्स को माइनस कर दो। तो 1000 में से 10 माइनस कर दो, दैट इज़ योर नॉर्मल इफेक्टिव। सो और कॉस्ट कैसे है, वट एवर इज़ अपियरिंग एज कॉस्ट ऑन द डेबिट साइड में से नॉर्मल लॉस का अगर कोई रिलाइजेबल वैल्यू है, मीन्स जस्ट हाइड दिस पार्ट यू हाइड, विच जहाँ पर क्वेश्चन मार्क है, लीव दैट थिंग असाइड, वट एवर रेस्ट इज विजिबल टू यू, लेट्स से इसको भी हाइड कर लें। नाउ व्हाट इज विजिबल टू यू, whatever is visible to you, that is the cost of normal effectives. Just see what is visible, 10,000 plus 5,000 plus 10,000. So I will be writing over here 10,000 plus 5,000 plus 10,000. Look into credit side, is there any amount visible? No. Suppose अगर होता तो हम उसे माइनस कर देते, बट यहाँ नहीं है तो नहीं लेना। नॉर्मल इफेक्टिव्स, यूनिट्स जितने डेबिट में विजिबल हैं, जितने क्रेडिट में विजिबल हैं, उनको माइनस कर दो, तो 2 ही यूनिट्स विजिबल हैं, 1000 इधर और 10 इधर। तो व्हाट यू डू, 1000 माइनस 10, तो जस्ट डिवाइड, क्या करेंगे, द आंसर इज 25,000 डिवाइडेड बाय 990। सो आई नीड टू हैव टाइम, इसको रब कर देते हैं, just wait, it is 25,000 divided by 990. Okay, so it comes out to be 25,000 by 990 is, let's say, 25 rupees per unit. So we will be multiplying 40 also with it and 950 also with it. ये इन दोनों के लिए रेट आ गया, so you can multiply, it is coming approximately 1010 and this is coming 23,990. And here just remember I wrote output is being transferred at the rate dash, तो ये रेट क्या आ गया, रेट इज ₹25.25 पर यूनिट, और यहाँ पे टोटल आ गए 25,000. So this is how process accounts are to be made. So try doing this and open your book also along side by side so that you are able to understand the things properly, and we'll continue in the next video tutorial. Thank you.